The real problem with our country, India, is that what the society needs most is accorded the lowest importance in politics. And perhaps the same misfortune may be afflicting many other countries as well. What society needs most gets the least importance in politics. Now, here is a proof. When coalition governments are formed, parties agree to join or support on the condition that they are rewarded with important and prestigious ministries. They want important and prestigious ministerial portfolios, and education is not regarded as one of the important or prestigious ones. So education is not important, education is not prestigious. That is the attitude of the politicians. And these are the politicians who rule the country, who think that education is neither important nor prestigious. So by their own admission, this is not what I am saying, the politicians themselves admit that education is not important, education is not prestigious. Now, ministerial allegations are not made on merit or efficiency. If you look for merit or efficiency, you may not be getting any minister. They are based on the bargaining power of the person. How much you can bargain, how important the person is. If the person gets angry and walks away, will the government fall? So it is based on the political importance, not on the merit of the person. And since the people with maximum clout, they manage to wrench off departments like home, finance, urban development, PWD. So what is left? The neglected and leftover trash, which is called education ministry. But is it necessary to appoint people with zero knowledge of law, zero knowledge of constitution, and zero knowledge of education matters? Is it necessary to appoint these dumb people as education ministers? Can't you get at least a person having some knowledge of law, some knowledge of constitution, some elementary knowledge of education related affairs? Now, what kind of education minister we are having? Here is an example. Now, Tamilnadu was labeled as uncivilized. Anyway, let that pass. We are not going to elaborate on that. It only shows the sense and mentality of people whom we elect. Now, in Kashi Tamil Sangam, the central education minister said about Tamil Nadu, they cannot think they are above the constitution. They must accept NEP in letter and spirit. Tamil Nadu cannot think they are above the constitution. They must accept NEP in letter and spirit, and the source from which we have got this is also given here. Now here the arrogant minister exposed his stupidity. He was not speaking, he was actually exposing his zero knowledge, his stupidity, his foolishness. He does not know that it is the very constitution that gives states the freedom to accept or not to accept all the points made by the center in education policy. That means it is a constitution which gives the autonomy to the states to accept fully, to accept partially, or not to accept at all any central education policy. It is the constitution which gives that. So he does not know that education is in concurrent list. He does not know what education means or what concurrent list means. He doesn't know education is in concurrent list, and he doesn't know the importance of that. A state is at liberty to accept or not to accept the central policy on education. By saying they must accept, he shows that he doesn't understand the constitution, or he doesn't understand the meaning and significance of education being classed under the concurrent list. Next sentence, are they above constitution? arrogance and rudeness, okay, let that pass. Arrogance and rudeness, we will not comment on that. Now, this sentence implies that not accepting the central policy is unconstitutional. Tamil Nadu is violating the constitution by not accepting the central policy. Here is where he made the blunder, not accepting the central education policy but following the state's education policy is perfectly constitutional, is perfectly legal, and every state has the right to not accept the central policy and to follow the state's policy or formulate the state policy. When he says, are they above constitution, he exposes his ignorance. He doesn't know the constitution, he doesn't know the concurrent list, he doesn't know that if the state follows the state's education policy, it is perfectly constitutional. So this is the ignorant minister we are having as education minister. And that means we have an education minister who does not know constitution, an education minister who does not know education is in concurrent list, an education minister who does not know the meaning and significance of education being in concurrent list. Now, if he had wanted to know, even a class 10 student would have explained this to him. In class 8, 9 and 10, they read this. They have this in their syllabus. In civics, they have this. What is state list? What is concurrent list? What is central list? What are the powers of the state? What are the powers of the center? They have this. Even a class 10 student would have told him. He could have asked his law minister. Our law minister, politics apart, he is really an expert in law. He is a very good educated person. He could have surfed the internet. He could have asked Grok or ChatGPT. He had 1,000 sources at the disposal, but ignorance and arrogance was demonstrated by the central education minister when he spoke these irresponsible sentences. Education is the most vital necessity for social upliftment, and it is treated so shabbily in reality by government and politicians. The most vital necessity for social upliftment is education, and the education is treated so shabbily by the government and the politicians. So if you want a better education for your children, at least check the IQ levels of people for whom you vote. And definitely do not vote for the psychedelic fools of a shameless Besharm Jumla party. Vote wisely and probably your children would have better education. Thank you and goodbye.